Hiya, today we're going to make, there's lots of names for this. Basically, it's a cottage pie mix. And on top, we're going to put cheese scones and cook it. Depending on where you are, there's lots of different names for it. But that's what we're cooking today. Very tasty and a real stick to your ribs meal. So we're going to start just some rapeseed oil, local of course. About a tablespoon. Got 2 onions sliced and 2 cloves of garlic just chopped up. And we're going to fry these until they're properly cooked. Now, a lot of recipes will say put the meat in first, but we're doing it this way. So that's going to take about 5-10 minutes. Just to help the caramelisation, we're going to add some salt. Now today, because I want a nice colour out of it, I'm going to use gravy salt. Just normal Compton's gravy salt. About a teaspoon there, and that'll help bring out the sugars in the onions and start giving it some colour. Well, that's been about 5 minutes. It's starting to soften down, the nasty raw smell's gone, and we get a nice bit of caramelisation on the pan. So we're going to add about a pound of mince now, beef mince. This is 15% fat mince. Use whatever one you want to use. If you want to use a leaner one, you're going to get slightly less flavour. I wouldn't go as far as a 20-25%. I think anywhere between 10 and 15 is good. 12's perfect. So we're going to just cook this down now till the meat's all changed colour, and because some water's going to come out, and we'll let that water go. Okay, that's cooked down now. You can see that all the beef's changed colour. So into there we're going to put, now you can use dried mixed herbs if you want, but I'm going to put in some fresh garden thyme, there's a sprig of rosemary and a fresh bay leaf. If you haven't got them, just use mixed herbs, it's not a problem. But it's really worth planting these things in your garden. Pop the rosemary in a big pot, you can leave it all year, it takes no care. You just keep trimming off the top and you've got plenty of fresh herbs through the year. Okay, into there we're going to put some veggies. We've got some carrots, we've got some neaps, or swede or Swedish turnip, whatever you want to call it. We've got some leeks and we've got some celery. I've chopped the celery really small because my wife don't like it, but it is really necessary for it. And some frozen peas. Incidentally, if you want to make the pretty patterns with the carrots, you need a tool like this. It's called a cannelé cutter, get it in cook shops. Anyway, so all of that's going in. All the recipe will be in the description down below. Okay, we're just stirring that in now. And now we're going to add around about a pint of your favourite gravy. You just make it a bit thicker than you normally would, because those vegetables are going to add a fair bit of water to it. So just throw that in. Now we're going to bring this to the boil, and then we're going to let it simmer, checking the water every now and then. You don't want it to dry up and burn, but you don't want it to be a soup. So just add a little bit of water if you need it through the cooking process. Now we're going to gently cook these until the carrot and the swede and the neaps are cooked and the mince has gone tender. Obviously, the longer you leave it, the more tender the meat. It's entirely down to you how you like it. Some people still like to bite the meat. So we'll just simmer that now. It's probably going to take about 40 minutes or maybe an hour, we'll see. Meanwhile, we'll move on to the topping. Right, for the topping, we've got 250 grams of self-raising flour, about a teaspoon of salt, none if you don't want it, more if you need it, half a teaspoon of mustard powder, that's what that looks like in the shops, and some fresh rosemary, about a teaspoon, just finely chopped up. Into that, we're going to put some butter that I've frozen, 60 grams. I've grated it and frozen it because we're going to make, just rub the butter into the flour. But if it's in lumps, it doesn't go in nicely. So if you freeze it, it works nice. Makes your fingers cold though. So now we're just going to rub that in with the tips of our fingers. Doesn't matter if it's not perfectly rubbed in, because it will just add to the texture. So I'm going to do that. It'll take a couple of minutes. Unfortunately, I didn't tape that. So what I've done is I've rubbed it in, and you'll never see that because I didn't press a button, but I rubbed in the butter. I added 125 grams of good strong grated cheddar, 1 egg, and then I've got a bowl of 160 millilitres of water. I've added half of milk, I've added half of the milk to the egg, and I've poured it in, and I'm mixing it with a spoon. We may use all the milk, we may not. You don't want too wet a mixture, you see, and you don't want to over mix it and make it tough. You want it so it just about comes together in a ball, which is actually there. So I've used about 3/4 of the milk, I suppose, but we can brush the top with that as well. So just to make things a little easier, I've got this dish is the one I'm going to use for putting the meat in and then topping it with this. So I know the size. So I've got a sheet of greaseproof paper, and I'm just going to bring this together with my hands. We're not really heavy kneading it, we just bring it together into a ball, and it doesn't need more than that. You may be tempted to add a bit more milk, which is fine, you know, that may work for you, but I like it nice and dry. Can you see? So we'll lift that out, pop it on there, and now all we're going to do is mould it roughly. Yeah, you can use a rolling pin if you want, but I wouldn't bother. We're moulding it roughly to the size of our dish. So that still needs to be a bit thicker. Because once the meat's in, we'll just lift this over, plonk it on the top. I want to put it in the fridge and let it rest a while first anyway. Get it nice and cold before it starts getting cooked. So are we there? Not quite. Tiny bit more. There you go. We're about the same size as the dish now. So this is going to go into the fridge and rest for about a good half hour. Let it get nice and cold. And then we'll put the meat in here, top it, and whack it in the oven. Right, the mince is cooked down now. It's nice and tender. I've added some salt and black pepper to it. So we're just going to fill this. I'm going to move this out of the way actually while I fill it because of the steam. So there you go, you can see it now. It's a nice thickness, nicely seasoned. Can really taste it. I like a lot of pepper, so you add a lot of pepper. Also the name of this dish, some people call it a cobbler, some people call it a Belmont pie. Call it anything, call it Arthur if you like, I don't care. So we're going to take the cheese scone mix that we made and just pop it on the top, just like that. Take away the paper and just mould it in a little bit. And we're not sealing it to the edge because there's a chance stuff will bubble over, and we're going to allow it to. And take the little bit of leftover milk, I'm going to brush the top with it. I've got the oven set to 200 degrees. It's a fan oven. If you've got a normal oven, not fan, I'd say 205, 210. You want it nice and hot, like a bread heat. Okay, so we're going to brush it with milk. Now we're just going to put a little bit of cheddar over the top. Again, this is going to come off over the edge, so when you put it in the oven, make sure you put it on a roasting dish or something like that. And because I like it, I'm just going to top it with some fresh cracked pepper. Now, as I say, that's ready for the oven now. So we're going to pop it on the dish in the oven, 200 degrees, fan assisted. It's probably going to be 25 minutes, but check after 20. Maybe it's cooked, maybe it's not. It might need 30 minutes. All ovens are different. So there you go. We'll have a look when it's done. Okay, so that's it out of the oven. It was 25 minutes in the end. You can see it's cooked all the way around. So I'm just going to dish it up now, and then we'll take a photograph and pop it online. Never get this out cleanly, but we'll have a go. You can see that. Obviously that's only a half portion, but gives you an idea. So give it a try. Simple food. Call it what you will, bell time, pie, whatever. Give it a try.